Welcome back to the Kid Tarot. Coming to you this morning with just a real quick reading. Hope you guys are warm and dry. It is very, very rainy everywhere right now. So I'm inside enjoying the cool weather and the beautiful rain that we're experiencing. I just wanted to cleanse the space and invite in some positive energy and the energy of rest is what I'm hearing. I did start channeling this morning. It's been a long night. I was up most of the night. I don't know how you guys are doing with sleep, but it was peaceful. I didn't feel like I was losing out on anything, but it was definitely not as much sleep as I would have preferred. However, what has been on my mind this morning is about negative thoughts and about gaining more control of negative thoughts. And so this was the image that came to me, was just like needing to put a stamp on it or a lid on it, is what I heard. So we'll see if that comes through at all, if there's any confirmation for that message in our cards today. I think I definitely want to pull from the Moonology Oracle deck to get the overall energy of the reading. And I think from there, you know what? We're just going to flow with it. Because I feel like pulling from the Earth Warriors deck. So we'll see. We'll see. We'll just flow. Keep it easy. Moonstone over here. Mother Moon, what messages do you have for us Earth Angels this morning? There's a heaviness across the chest area, I'm feeling. Not sure if that's someone watching or just a general collective. I just get the sense that it comes over you suddenly, like this tightness in your chest, or it's tighter than it usually is. It's anxiety. It feels like a lot of anxiety. It's getting cooler, so it may be a little more difficult to get outside comfortably, but even if you can't, maybe even just meditating on your favorite pretty place outside, or pulling up an image of some beautiful space around the world that you'd like to see, and meditating on that, and just kind of letting the peace of that come over you. The balance, spirituality, and practicality card came out of the Moonology deck, and I really feel like it's just as simple as what we just talked about. Having an understanding of our spiritual nature, of our spiritual gifts, and finding ways to get in tune with that inside of our everyday lives. I just also heard like balancing alchemy. Okay, hello, thank you. Balancing alchemy. Some of you may be feeling, I just feel like this, like a hand on my throat, but like some of you may feel like you're balancing or you're straddling in between two worlds. Almost how these koi fish are swimming around one another. You can look up the spiritual significance of the koi. There's a lot of symbology there as well. But similar to that, you're marrying these two experiences of yourself within the experience of yourself, if that makes any sense. So, there's a lot of ways to describe it. It can just be as simple as us talking about, experiencing 4-dimensional and 5th-dimensional energies within our 3-dimensional experience, but also, you know, even so what I just heard, I got the image of a church, and what I just heard was even with your potentially your religious upbringing. So you don't need to feel like you have to denounce everything that you learned in your childhood, or everything that you've believed in as far as your religious practices. Because of what has shifted for you in a spiritual sense. Like some of you are seeing more syncs. Some of you are becoming more aware of how like outside energy impacts you. Some of you are starting to have a deeper understanding of your depression and anxiety as symptoms of, I almost heard like it's almost like asymptomatic spirituality, but like some of you are starting to understand that the things that are working over you are impacting you. And so trying to marry the new with the old is challenging, but I'm also hearing that the old is the new. So what we're bringing in is not it's not anything that we haven't done before, anything that hasn't been before on this earth. It's just been a really long time. So you can relax in that knowing as well. It's incredibly human of you, is what I heard. Thank you, guys. It's incredibly human of us to want to have a point of reference, is what they were saying. And the next card that came out has come out a bit over the last few days, but the end of a tough cycle approaches. I do hear hold on. The end of a tough cycle approaches. We've been asked over the last several months to continue to summon more of ourselves to this fight. Try not to let the negative thoughts overwhelm you or make you feel as though there isn't any potential positivity coming in. I'm gonna go to Mystic Beauty's Easy Tarot deck and just see if there's any additional messages to clarify these cards before I pull from the Earth Warriors deck and get an incantation for us today. Okay. All right. So King of Pentacles in the upright, wealth, business, leadership, security, and discipline are on the card. Definitely this discipline portion is sticking out to me, of needing to get discipline over your spiritual self, discipline over your habits and your routines. Right now you may be feeling I also like your tendency towards leadership may be getting in the way. So you may be portraying outward leadership but not inward leadership, and so you're gonna want to take a look and balance both because they're important. So I'm also not hearing that there's any need to step away from your outward appearance of leadership. Like maybe you're a business owner, or you're responsible for, you're responsible in your job. Like you're a leader of some type, a boss of some type. Also could be in the home. Like maybe you're the head of the household and things like that. The next card that popped out was Ace of Swords, and this sword with the crown on the tip that's upside down is what's sticking out to me. It's just like almost like you have some of your priorities misaligned, but the definition on the card is confusion, memory loss, misfortune, misuse of power, misuse of information, tyranny, and failed communication. So, especially because it feels like you just have your priorities backwards. Like with this leadership, in the absence of building out some more of your spiritual habits, like almost like you wielded it like I got the image of like a little toy soldier with his but he's fully animated, and his little sword is upside down. Like, you were wielding your talents and your skills, some of your spiritual talents and skills as well. Like some of those ideas that would just pop into your head and you had no idea how you came up with that or where it came from. Like, yeah, everybody outside of you was, patting you on the back because that's brilliant and you're brilliant, and you are brilliant, because you're co-working with the universe. But I don't know, I get the sense that some of those gifts were used in your practical life in ways that, might not have been so appropriate. Like, maybe I also heard cunning, like maybe instead of using your charm and wit, to disarm people, help them feel safe, and help to resource them in some type of way. Maybe you use that to, give them a false sense of security, in order for you to be able to triumph in some way or another. And it's not, again, not necessarily wrong or right, but it was a misappropriation of resources is what I heard. All right, spirit, shit. It was a misappropriation of resources. The Eight of Wands came out next, and I do still also see the image of that toy soldier with all these wands coming his way. He does have what he needs in order to thwart it off, but he could have been behind them is what I'm hearing. Fast movement, progress, action, sudden change. Visitors, unexpected visitors is what I'm hearing. Unexpected news is what I'm hearing. And it can either be coming like at you, like, like a hose to the face, or you can be the one that's, in control or in a more, I just heard stable position, to receive this new information. I also heard like the flavor of that, like it's gonna taste different. That new information is gonna taste different, depending on what you've been up to. That's what I heard. That's what you've been up to. How you've been carrying yourself. How you've been conducting yourself, and taking the time to manage your negative thoughts. Like, have you just been allowing yourself to succumb to them, or have you been attempting to have some level of control? And also I heard gratitude. I love this stuff. It's so beautiful. All right, Mother Gaia, what messages do you have for us Earth Angels today? What healing is needed most as we try to gain control over our mental habits, our spiritual habits? I heard slow and steady. Slow and steady wins the race. So maybe take the time to write out a plan. For the take the time to write out a plan. I'm sorry, I got a little lost. Take out the time to write out a plan so you can break this thing down into steps, and you potentially won't feel so overwhelmed with what you want to be different. You're so hyper focused on what you want to be different that it's pulling you in a negative way. So we have card 15 of the deck. It says Anja Durga. It's power of the good, and we see a beautiful depiction of divine feminine energy, with the tiger at her heart chakra. All right. It says you need never lose faith in the power of good. You need never lose faith in how much you can accomplish as an independent and inspired individual in this world. You need never believe that you are alone or without divine protection. You need never fear evil. The third eye of the Divine Mother sees all things, is ever watchful and ever just. She bursts through holy vision, the manifest power of good in all realms. Her gaze is upon you now. Trust her. And so, especially this portion, she bursts through holy vision. You may be becoming more aware of that connection that you have. And I also hear like some of you may feel betrayed by it. Like maybe not all of your great ideas were your own, but focus on the greater good, because it's given to you. I'm just getting pinging in my ear. It was given to you for a reason. The holy visions that she entrusts to you, they're manifesting through you for a reason. And that gift of purpose is what you need to focus on. And so in the reading, it says, believe in the power of the divine to keep an eye on things for you. Trust that power to alert you when you need to know something or to understand what is happening in your life and what you need, even if you aren't so sure yourself at times. Actively contest negativity. When you feel something isn't coming from love, acknowledge it immediately. You don't need to make it about you or analyze it. Use your divine connection to deal with it promptly and effectively. And call in for divine support in all things. It also had a sentence there that you would not divert any effort or power away from someone else. So you don't almost hear you talking down to yourself, like your problems are not as big as other people's problems, or you know how sometimes our parents would make comments about, you know, other children starving in other areas of the world, and we've kind of gotten into this concept that if our pain, you know, isn't as great as someone else's, or our circumstance is not as you know, it's not as poor as someone else's, then what are we complaining about? Like, what do we have to complain about? Because maybe, you know, your bank account is flush right now. Maybe you own property right now. Maybe you own a business right now. Or maybe you just started one. Or, you know, there's all these different things that you're using to try to diminish how you feel about what's happening. And that isn't necessary. And you can ask for divine support with anything in any way. And you don't need to feel like you're pulling resources away from someone else or that you don't deserve it. So for the healing process, and we'll end this reading, it says, say aloud, unconditionally loving light of Durga, bless my endeavors and relationships with your divine light and protection. Hold me in the fort of divine goodness where I am unharmed. Your beauty and your truth shine light into any darkness, keeping me safe and blessed in grace. May your divine justice prevail. So be it. And then it goes on further to say that you can sing or chant for as many times as it feels good. Om Dom Durgai Namaha. And place your hand firmly on your belly and then on your heart. Pause for a moment and then bow your head with your hands in prayer. And so you can work through that as a meditation, repeating that chant, either singing or saying it as many times as feels comfortable to you while you meditate. Focus on your breathing, placing your hand firmly on your belly and then another hand over your heart. I'd also recommend imagining the colors of those two chakras, or any of them also that you feel that may need some attention. Imagining the color of it, so green for your heart chakra, and yellow and orange for your sacral chakra. And just try to relax. Try to relax. I'm hearing that it's really tough for you right now to do that. All right. I'm going to try to hold that space for us today as well. Peace, love, light, and blessings to you all.